2Swift in the house. We had to do it remotely because of all of the craziness happening.
It's been a blessing in disguise for me. It's just like, it's sad for other people, well, like for other people being sick and losing jobs and losing their homes. That's sad, of course, but good for me because I've been super busy. Just like everybody's creative right now.
Yeah, and I was going back and looking at your Instagram feed and, just doing a little bit of research on you and seeing how much you traveled last year.
Oh my God, it was Thursday through Monday, every day, different countries, different states. And we did the United States like 3 times, Colombia, Ecuador, we went everywhere,
Yeah, and so then I saw that you had to stop traveling and you are busy in the studio, which is definitely a blessing. I've worked at home for over a year or almost 2. I have an office, but it's easier for me to kind of work at home.
Yeah.
So it was like an extension, like nothing really changed for me at all. But now I'm like kind of just like really want to get back to normal, like being able to like visit people.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. But I get you being a producer in the studio. So what's going on with that? I know you said you're super busy. Like,
there's a lot of projects. There's a movie. Right before this whole quarantine, we had a movie that we did for the artist that I produced and I DJ'd for on tour. His name is Sekan. So we did a movie. It was March 30th. We were supposed to do the promo run, New York, Miami, Mexico. Everything got canceled because of that, So it's still gonna come out, but I'm working with a bunch of artists from Florida, from Mexico, from Colombia, from everywhere. Now it's just through email, just like this, like video chats, FaceTimes, and just this is like the new century now. Like this is like the new way of working,
Yeah, I remember going on the freeway a couple weeks ago. Well, it started to pick up. I feel it's just such a weird time. It's like for a while it was like so desolate on the freeway. And it was like it was nice, right? Because you're like people could, usually when you travel to LA, it's like an hour, but it was like nothing. But now I feel like traffic is picking up again. Yeah, tell us more about your artist.
I work with he's an artist from Mexico, from Guadalajara, and I've been working with him for with the whole camp. We're like a family, and it started off as kind of like more of me just hanging around because I met him through this other group I was producing called Crooked Stilo. And then
yeah, I'm real familiar with Crooked Stilo.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him right now, and then he introduced me to Sekan's manager at the Latin Grammys, and we just kicked it off, and we just became friends, homies, for like a year or 2. And then they asked me to see what I could do, like as far as mixing, beats here and there. And I was just trying to get in there, and I became like one of the main producers, his DJ, his go-to guy. I'm the only one who touches his vocals now,
Oh wow.
He's very professional. He's in and out with the studio. He doesn't like drag. He knows what he wants. He's like me. He's like, I know what I want when I'm making a track,
Yeah, I was looking at some of your guys' performances, and you guys have a pretty good following. Would you say that his music is like reggaeton or like more like?
No, it's hip hop. It's straight rap. It's like urban rap. He does collab. He has collab with some reggaeton people. When we went to New York, we were in the studio. I can't remember with who. With Papi Willow and somebody else. I can't remember. But he's collab with everything. He's done from mariachi to salsa to rap. We just released a salsa record that's the theme song for the movie. It's different from everything. Like, and if you saw my Instagram, like the post that we did from Guadalajara, it was like 25,000 people. It was our show, and he has mariachi. He's got like the whole works, live band to everything.
Oh, so, yeah. Is he rapping with mariachis in the back?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're starting something new. We actually have an album coming out. It's all like acoustic. So we have a bunch of Mexican regional artists in the chorus, and he's doing the raps. I did all the music, and we have songs from like straight mariachi to ballads. He likes to think out the box, which is I like working with artists like that who are not stuck in one way, or it has to be this way, or it has to be because, you know, it's like whatever sounds good to me is what I mix everything from mariachi to rap to whatever, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter, you know?
Well, you definitely must have an ear for music if you're able to, because I mean, I don't know, I'm not a producer, but I feel like that wouldn't be the easiest for most people to be able to like have an ear for different styles of music. So you must be.
For me, it's like I grew up listening to cumbias and everything else, and so banda. I never listened to rap. Still to this day, I never, and that's like I've got songs that I have 100.
Yeah, I just listened to something. What was the group called? I was just listening to it from Spotify.
JP.
I don't know how to say it. It's spelled like
JP.
JIP.
Actually, from the LA area. Not LA. He's like outside of LA. But that was a while ago. That was probably the song that we did with Voces de Rancho, right?
The song, I was listening to Party. What song was, you have a few songs with him.
Yeah, 4 songs.
Houston Wave, Nothing was the song with you.
I don't remember the names of the songs.
Love, Hate.
Probably.
You're in the credits.
Oh, am I really? Well, that's good. Well, there's so many records, like I say, and once I'm done with the project, okay, I hand in the masters, I put the song away, and I move on to the next. You know what I mean? It's I'm going through probably about 20, 30 songs a week. You know, so it's like so for me I can't remember, and that was that was probably like years ago when I was working with him and Bobby Castro. I still work with Bobby a lot. Well, not lately because of the whole quarantine, but he's a really dope writer, and he's more in the Mexican regional scene, but he does rap really well too, you know.
So do you work with Latino rappers that I feel like mainstream Latino rap really never made it to mainstream?
Well, that's funny you said, because JP was actually one of the few at that time. Crooked Stilo, Aquid, and JP and David Rolas were the ones that went when they were popular with Univision days, like in 2005.
Yeah.
That was them, and I think that was like the highest it went mainstream. You know what I mean? But never really like an explosion like reggaeton or anything else. You know?
Yeah.
But it needs to. But with Secan right now, I mean, we've done. I mean, mostly every show, it's always a good turnout. I mean, here in the United States, it's more clubs, so there's smaller crowds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we went to Alabama, and I was so shocked. There's a lot of races in there too, but it's like, but other than that, I mean, the crowd was amazing.
Who booked that show? How did you guys end up in Alabama?
The promoter would just call us, and we go back, and every single time it's like packed. And it's a lot of people from Louisiana, Florida, Texas that drive to go work there, like in the fields and the oil.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. And we get there and it's packed and you couldn't walk. 2,000 people in a club, you know? And then it was like great response, merch was selling, and we're just feeling good, you know? And then we go to Atlanta and the same thing, response is incredible, you know? It's, but they're smaller, they're like 800 to 700. Sometimes the clubs are even smaller, where it only fits 200-300. But we still do it because we need to get the name out there, you know?
You're not going to be touring for a while then.
But they just called me. Well, they just called me like last week, and they said, well, hey, there's a promoter. There's 2 promoters that already started doing gigs. But I don't know if I want to go, you know?
I know. That's why it's so frustrating right now. It's like so hard to plan anything. You know, everything's just up in the air.
Yeah, honestly, like right before this this whole quarantine happened, I was tired of I love traveling, don't get me wrong. I love traveling, but doing it every week, carrying the bags and the merch and the DJ, like, because everybody lives in different like countries and states, so everybody at the location. And then so I get there. So me carrying all this stuff, I don't mind it because it's work and we gotta hustle. but it gets tiring. And then like
Yeah.
no sleep, and jump to the next city, and then you're staying up late, waking up early, and it's like
Yeah.
so it takes a toll on you.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I'm doing a documentary, working on one, and I went to Arizona like 2 weeks ago, and I had to lug all of this camera equipment. And I remember thinking that, like, oh, this is like such a hassle. Like, I didn't want to fly because I didn't think that,
Oh yeah.
I thought with all that equipment, it'd just be better just to drive.
And the airports are filled with COVID right now. Like that in the hospitals, I feel like so.
And Phoenix is like a hot spot.
Oh yeah.
So luckily I was in and out, and I ended up not even being able to shoot because
Oh, wow.
of COVID. I was kind of bummed.
Yeah. I think they said on the news 2021 we're gonna go back to it, but who knows? But in the meantime, I'm just working on like movie stuff and like some I'm working with Daddy Tejo now and Bash. I'm doing like their stuff, mixing, mastering. I'm producing Danny's artist now.
Karen, you?
Teranu was here, and then he has another girl named Twixie.
Really?
who-
Did you sign her too?
Yeah, he signed her. In the interview that you did with him, she was the girl that kind of fell off,
Yeah.
He started that label because of her.
Because of the other girl. Because of
Yeah,
Trixie.
yeah, Twixie.
Okay, Twixie. So she's back.
And she's incredible. She's got a voice, but she does mariachi, and she's been
Really?
super very, very talented. Very, very talented. Same thing with Tara. It's like
Yeah.
So Tara's doing a little bit more like.
Are they gonna do a song together?
Who knows? I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But
Tara's
Bash,
Latina too.
it's funny because Tara's from the same city where I used to live, from Corpus,
Yeah.
Corpus Christi. But yeah, like it's a small world, and I've been knowing Bash since like 2002, 2001.
Yeah. Did you work on his show or his song with Paula Dianda?
Yeah, look, so I have my gold record right here.
I used to love that song, Doing Too Much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like how that happened. It's funny how that whole thing just happened, because I used to have a studio, and so the studio that he was recording at, they didn't have a preamp or the Avalon preamp that I have, which is a very popular preamp for vocals. So I told him I'll let him use mine. So I took it over there. So he's all like, "Why don't you just engineer the session?" It just happened, And so I hooked it up. I ended up being there. He was coaching Paula line per line, and the next thing you know, it's a hit. But this was like a hit like 2 years after,
Oh wow.
But I didn't find out that it wouldn't go till probably like 5-6 years. I looked it up on Google.
That was like one of her very first singles too.
Yeah, it was her first single. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Happy Pete produced it, and that song did good. It was like #1 for like 13 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. I hope Paula puts some new music out soon.
I haven't talked to her in forever.
I
But
think
yeah,
she lives here in LA now.
she's back and forth from Texas in here. But she
Yeah.
works with a lot of my people that I know, so it's cool. But I'm working with Bash again a lot now, and we have so Bash started out Bash Town Latino, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
so there's a new artist from Houston. His name is Tony Montana, and he's gonna be one of the first ones who's releasing his stuff from Bash Town Latino, and I produce all of it.
What kind of music is that?
I mean, we got everything from like your typical rap, like down south rap, and then to a Cuban up tempo type beat. It's with trumpets and live. Like my production, I try to keep like half of the production live instruments because I play all instruments.
When there's trumpets in a song, I love that. It's such I don't know, because not a lot of people do it, and so when you hear it, I think that's awesome to have live trumpets and especially in a rap song.
Oh, you gotta hear what I did with Secan. It's like with the live trumpets, with the mariachi, with the rap. It's a whole different thing,
Yeah.
There was one. We actually did one. Have you ever heard of Omar Chaparro? the actor. He's a big actor in Mexico. He's a Latin. He's in a bunch of like films here too. He had a movie called Compadres, and we did like the soundtrack. We did 2 songs for that, and we did one rap with mariachi, and that song turned out to be one of the hits for like the shows. Everybody always wants that song, you know. And it's like it's probably one of my best songs. I love that song, you know. It was mixed right. We did everything just right. It was done right, you know.
So what's like the life of a producer like?
Well, for my life, it's like, I mean, just waking up, checking my emails, and it's like, and all the texts, and there's like songs after songs, and WeTransfers and Dropbox files, songs that like just today I got about 14 songs, you know, and I just got a call for some guys that came down from Mexico that want to meet with me. There's a lot of projects. It's like, and I love that because you know what? So many people when they're starting out, like they worry about too much about money. Like I don't worry about money. If money will come, right? You got to stay active. You got to stay consistent. You know, just like vloggers and everybody else, right? But I've never stopped since 1994 when I was DJing in Chicago. You know, it's like it's been nonstop, and still to this day, like, I have a handful of friends from back in the day that are still with me. You know, but everybody's worried about, oh, like I need my $100 or my $50, and I get it. We all have to pay bills, right?
Right.
But there's times it's like I wish people were more like just motivated. Like with me, it's like I don't worry about money because I know it's gonna come. You know what I mean? It's like, and now look at me. It's like now I have a ton of projects, more than what I can handle. But I don't say no because it's like I'll get it done. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I'm not. I don't want to say I'm glad that this whole quarantine, but it blessed me because now I can catch up on all the projects that I was behind in. Right? And now I'm caught up. Now I have new projects, new movies. I'm meeting with new directors and some people from Netflix, whatever, you know. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. A lot of cool stuff.
Okay, so what's gonna happen with Netflix? You're gonna help them do music?
Well, I mean, well, there's always stuff. It's just a couple of directors. They did pitch me some films, and it's always through like a third party. I got to work with these people.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, I've got a lot of placements on TV, HBO, like all over TV, you know.
So is that what they call mailbox money?
Yeah, that's like passive income. Like you don't. All I do is wake up to paychecks. I mean, not like that. Like you know, it's like every quarterly you get a royalty check, and like I did 4 tracks, 3 or 4 tracks, for a friend of mine. He has a comedy show. I can't remember the name of it. I wish I did know what it was. But it's on Showtime or HBO. And so it's all Latinos, right? And so I gave him like a batch of tracks, 5 or 10 tracks. He picked 3 or 4 of them. And the next thing you know, like a year and a half later, I get a check for like $1,500, you know? And it's like, so the quarterly, and that was just for that project, you know? So I was like, wow. And this is now every quarter you get paychecks. And that's like all the people that buy real estate's passive income, you know? Like all you do is sleep and your money comes, you know? And that's what I mean, I've been doing investments for not just the music and like real estate, and all kinds of stuff for the last 12, 13 years. And then I started off back in the day, I used to buy these computers from eBay for $200 that were kind of just beat up. So I'd buy them, put new drives, new memory. I figured out that the main parts of the computer. And then I would flip it, kind of just clean it up. And that, now, it was $300-400. Now, so I sold it for like $2,500. So I would make like a $2,000 profit. And I learned from that, and I would do that and just kind of just hustle. And now I fix everybody's computers, and I fix.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's like, so there's a lot of investments everywhere, you know. It's like I had a clothing store with my mom in Texas, and then well, there was just a bunch of stuff, like the real estate stuff, the music stuff, the film stuff.
let's talk about that then a little bit. You know, I love how you're talking business, and as a music producer, any potential people that are watching, and that's what they want to do, you know, like, and you're living it. And I definitely believe in passive income. You know, it's something that I do talk about on anytime I'm doing a podcast with somebody. It really always does come up because we're all like independent entrepreneurs. And you said you've been doing that since 1994.
Well, the business side was like the 2001, 2002, but 94 I've been DJing, like hustling. I mean, there was times where they shut off my electricity, my water, and we'd have to go and break the locks, and they would fine us more, and we didn't have no, you know. And then, I mean, we went through it hard, you know. It's like I didn't have, when I moved to California, I didn't even have more than $500 in my pocket, not knowing that rent is like 3-4 times as much. Like, I had no idea. But the biggest problem that people get into, in as far as artists and producers, is money management. That's the number one key that can make you or break you. If you don't know how to manage your money, it's like, it's funny because my mom just sent me this meme the other day. I can't remember what it said, but like overall, it's like, rich people get richer because they make this much money, but they spend this much money, right?
Yeah.
When there's people that go broke, it's because they make this much money and they spend this much money.
Yes.
Me, it's like, I don't care about brands. I don't care about nothing. I care about my future, right? So I invest in stuff, my studio that makes me money.
You invest in yourself. I mean, you have your shirt. It's got your label. You know, that's so smart.
Nobody's going to invest in you. If you don't invest in yourself, nobody's going to believe in you. You know what I mean? You have to believe in yourself. And I invested in all the equipment, all the instruments, learning it, the internet, because I learned from YouTube how to play guitar and piano and all this other stuff, you know?
Wow.
And then, so you have to invest in yourself, whether you're like doing photography or videos or whatever you're doing, you got to invest in yourself. And then, but don't spend money like I don't care about brands. I don't care about impressing other people, you know? But I get it. Artists have to live that image. They're like with jewelry and cool clothes and all that.
Well, artists have it a little bit harder, right? Because it's true. They have to portray the image first.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely have it harder. And then how many stories do we hear about them having all these like big gold necklaces and, you know, Bentley in the back or whatever, and then once that album drops, they don't even own that car.
Yeah, a lot of them either rented or, you know what I mean? It's I know people like that too, and but everybody in my camp, like, they don't really. It's like everybody's on the same page as me, you know. It's like we don't spend money just to spend money. You gotta spend your money wisely. I still have my tax money from like 7 years ago. You know, it's like.
What?
Yeah, it's like, you know, I really don't spend like, this is what I love to do, is my studio. This is what I love, you know? And I mean, the only thing I did buy nice is my watch and my car. But all that.
What kind of watch is it then? I want to know.
Well, this is old already. This is a Breitling. I mean, but.
Okay, those are good watches.
Yeah, they're expensive. But this one's like almost $9,000, you know? It's not like town.
Leonardo DiCaprio did an ad for them, I think.
Yeah, and then, but this was back when I did care about brands, you know? But I'm glad I got it because it's an investment, but now it's like, now I want to buy an Apple Watch because if I ever get jacked in Mexico, they could just take that and not this one. So,
yeah,
but...
They probably can track it too with an Apple Watch.
Yeah. No, but it's like, now it's just like, now it's just my studio stuff, you know? And I'm always in like t-shirts and like sweats or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I need to get a shirt like that for myself.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them here. I always give them away, you know? It's because like, that's another thing with promotion. It's like I'm nobody big yet where I could like sell my merch. I mean, like, so I give my merch away to everybody, different. So every time we're on tour, I take a handful with me, just give them away. So people in Colombia or Ecuador, like Chicago, New York, everywhere has my shirts, you know?
Yeah, and I think I always remember too how Lil Wayne said he did that as well to get Lil Wayne for a point in time. He was like doing all these features. He was just like on everyone's song, and like he said he did that on purpose. He just wanted to get his name out there. So that's like a similar tactic. But yeah, I definitely want everyone to listen to you because you're in an industry where, I mean, you really do have to invest in yourself and make those connections so you can get projects. And then, you know, your reputation will kind of speak for itself. And once people see the quality of your work, you'll end up getting more projects. And I think you're right, you know, not expecting, you know, to make it big right off the bat, but eventually, as your work becomes known and you build up your resume, so to speak.
What you say about Lil Wayne? Because I kind of did the same thing, but I mean, like, he's big, right? But I'm saying it's like when I got to California, or when I started doing rap music or whatever, beats, I was working with anybody. I wanted my name out there.
Yeah.
I didn't care about $50, $100. Like I said, like money will come. You
Yeah.
need to get your name out there.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where I've done that so much that I could choose whoever I want to work with. Not saying, but because I'm so busy, and then with Secan stuff, we have a whole label that we have our own artists that we focus on, you know. So yeah, it's you have to get out there. You have to invest in yourself, get merch, do whatever. Just try to get in like as much projects as you can, you know.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite type of beat that you like to make, or is that cumbias?
Cumbia is my favorite. It's like the most stuff I've had like most success is like corridos, rap, mariachi, right? And pop too. I mean, I have placements in all of them, like big placements in every genre. You know, it's like for every genre, I've got songs.
What's a big placement in like rap?
Well, it's Secan. I mean, like right now I think it's at 115 million.
And he's from Mexico?
Yeah, but he's got a visa, so we do the tour here.
Yeah.
We went over like, I'm surprised because we were in Spain and we had never been there, and people were stopping him. Like we were in Spain, a whole different side of the world, you know. It's like, and we went to Costa Rica for the first time, and he sold the most show, you know. He's like, it was I really like working with him. I mean, he's like a different level, you know, mind wise too, you know. But yeah, it's like, I mean, but my favorite music to listen to is cumbia. That's without a doubt, cumbia, and then. But I do rap and everything else, but cumbia is like, I don't know, my favorite.
Well, I can't wait to hear your new songs, your new music, you know, coming out with Secan, and you know, hearing your mixture of the trumpets and beats and stuff.
They just sent me the new song that we just did. I can't say with who yet. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. I can't say it yet, but it's a huge artist.
Really? What genre?
The cumbia.
Oh.
But it's a mixture with him, and he's rapping in the. But oh my God! And that song was supposed to be done. We were supposed to do it with Celso Piña, and he passed away. You know.
Oh.
What was it, like 6 months ago, a year ago, something like that? So that didn't happen, unfortunately. But now we have this group, and oh man, it's nice, you know. So it's a song that we've had for like years, but we only perform it in the shows. We never put it out, and people always ask for it. And then so now it's like now it's finally getting done. It's finally gonna come out. Video, I'm pretty sure video's gonna be done. I mean, so it's a good thing that we have going on with everybody, you know. And I'm working a lot too with other rappers in Mexico. There's a new artist from Mexico that I'm producing. Her name is Yes Rodriguez. She's like pop, like urban. She was on La Voz Mexico, and I'm producing her stuff.
Oh, okay, nice.
She sings really dope. She comes out here too as well. And then I'm also producing Tony Montana, who's under with Bashtown Latino. He's out of Houston. So there's projects, yeah. So it's like cool. a lot of cool stuff happening.
That's awesome. I feel like, Latinos were starting to come full circle, and I know you mentioned that you never stopped grinding since you were doing it since 2001. And, it makes me look back because when we met.
We were both grinding back in Houston.
So I want to talk about that, how, we got connected on Instagram. And did you see that throwback picture I put from the?
Yeah, with the TL.
Yeah.
In the back, yeah. I can't remember her name.
Oh, James Easy.
Yeah.
That was my road dog, my chick, my partner. But, I was running Latin Affiliated at that time, and we had Chingo Bling on the cover of the magazine. He won, I think, the Best Rapper Award that night. He won, like, the grand award that night, I remember. And we flew out there from Arizona. I was living in Arizona at the time. And, that magazine, I had a really great run with it. I didn't keep it going, though. I moved to LA. And I kind of got mixed up in the Hollywood scene. I ended up like on movie sets and saw how ugly Hollywood could be. And I kind of freaked out a little bit. And so I took a step back from it. And there was a lot of drama. There was like a lot of backstabbing at the time for my magazine. I think I didn't know how to handle being a young woman and, trying to be this owner of this
magazine. I know it's hard. It's hard with the magazine.
There was a lot of like things I had to deal with behind the scenes, and so I ended up like just rebranding it. I ended up like taking a break, stepping back, and but I get it. I wish I would have had the strength and the knowledge to just keep going and figuring it out instead of I just kind of like put things on the back burner. I was kind of like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm in LA now. Like, I'm going to have to come back to this project. Mm-hmm. But, I did, and I rebranded. And so now I get to like kind of talk to people that I was, in touch with over 10 years ago. And it's like the same circle. Everybody's still working, still grinding, I was working with Baby Bash back then too, and I love seeing how his career has been just like so long. He's got a really great resume, and so I'm happy to keep doing this and doing it in a new format because a magazine is like super hard to produce, but a video show is right up my alley.
Like I always tell people, it's a lot of people wait for opportunities, or they wait for that chance, and I've never been like that. I make my own opportunities. Like say for example, what I mean by that is like, okay, I want to get this guy to do my video, right, or whatever, and he's dragging, or he's too expensive. I'll go buy my own cameras. I'll do it myself, and that's what I did. I've done so much stuff, and I have all these cameras, and I have lights and all kinds of stuff because I can't wait for people. It's like a lot of people, they're not on my pace, and I'm not saying that I'm the fastest, but I'm hustling. I'm going 100 miles an hour, and you need to keep up with me, and which is why I have a lot of work and placements and all this other stuff. So I make my own opportunities. I don't wait for opportunities to come to me. Like for Hollywood, for example, I've had this idea to do a documentary about the whole Latin urban movement that's crossing over into Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with all like the artists, well, a lot of them, and here too. And I have the cameras and I have the lights. Why can't I just do it? So I was like I'm not gonna wait for somebody to finance it or to help me with it. I'm just gonna do it myself.
That's awesome.
Which I'm gonna create my own opportunity. That's an opportunity for me because not only that, having the right people on it and you do the right promotion, it's gonna get streams, right?
Yeah.
Whether you put it on YouTube or Netflix or whatever, and you shoot it right, I mean, there's a chance it could be on Netflix. It's like,
yeah,
you never know these days. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing that. I'm gonna do it. That's for sure gonna happen.
Oh man, let me know. I would love to be a part of that. Um, you know, it's so funny because have you ever heard of that TV show Operation Repo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know
Right.
Lou Pizarro?
Oh yeah, yeah. They
So
live here, right?
yeah, I think so, I'm sure. But the other day I was cleaning out my closet and I found a contract that I signed with that movie.
Oh wow.
And I gave them the rights to show Latin affiliated the magazine that I was running at the time. And
Oh,
so they could use the magazine in the movie. And it's so funny because, I mean, that was like 10 years ago. Yeah, over 10 years ago. And like the movie's just coming out now.
oh my God.
And so I hit up Lou and I was like, hey, Lou, I was like, is my magazine still in the movie? And he was like, he said he was like, I think so. So
Yeah.
the movie like just dropped, like I think this week. So I haven't paid to watch it. I don't know, but I'm very curious to see if we're still in it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like films and music right now are like really taking off. You know, and it's like, so I'm working. Mariachi's coming back strong, by the way. So the project I'm working with Danny Trejo is like mariachi, right? And then I have this other artist. His name is Ray Coronado. He's from Sonora, Mexico, and I'm producing the mariachi stuff. So I'm going full force with that. And I just like, so I had this idea. I'm like, why don't I do some kind of documentary like about this whole movement? You know, because they looked up to us, right? And now they're the ones that are really like hitting it hard in Mexico. I mean, these guys are getting big numbers, big streams, followers, everything. They're on top of the world right now.
Wow.
You know, and then, but they're not as powerful as reggaeton. That's a whole different powerfulness. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but they're making noise, they're making some moves, and so I'm involved in a lot of that. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do this. It's like, and I've had a couple people who are like, I want to help you out, but they're not like driven like me. Like it's like me. It's like there's a lot to it. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
so I have like, all my questions because I don't know how to talk to people, right? So my thing was just gonna be like, have you seen the documentary on Netflix with LA Originals with Mr. Cartoon?
I have. I've watched that.
So it's gonna be something like that, but more like in depth and more
That's
like
cool.
in the trenches. Like I'm gonna go fly out to Mexico to Sinaloa and all that. Go like firsthand, you know. It's like gotta go there anyways.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. If you need any help, you know, I do a little bit of video production, so let me
Yeah.
know.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm just waiting for one more camera to come in, and I'm gonna start actually with Crooked Stilo. I'm gonna start with them. I'm gonna do a test shoot like at the house, and then with my lights and everything, because I want to get everything right.
I mean, you gotta interview me. I had the premium Latino magazine when all those Latin artists were taking over.
But yeah, no, for sure. It's like so it's not just gonna be artists. It's gonna be producers, artists, radio personality, like magazine. You know, like anything with media that was part of the whole movement. And I know you were part of the movement because I was with you back in Houston. You know.
Yeah.
And we ran into each other, you know. It's like, so I want to do all that, and it's gonna be. I've already talked to my boys from Quinto Sol, from Milwaukee, who represent Milwaukee, Chicago area too as well. And I've talked to a bunch of groups, and everybody's down with the program, you know. And so they're just
I
like,
still got my magazine in my garage. I have like a stack of all the issues.
I still have one of them around here too.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh my god,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Are you still doing it or no?
You know, I do it as Style, Life, and Music now.
Oh, okay.
So when I moved to LA, I ended up, you know, like I was saying, I ended up being on like movie sets, and it wasn't so much like it was in Arizona, where Arizona was like, there was like a lot of Latinos out there. But when I moved to LA, I was kind of going in different circles, and working with not just Latin artists. So I just decided to rebrand it so I could, because LA's more of like a melting pot. But again, you know, there's just like so many things I wish I would have did differently. You know, I was trying to adapt when I was in
That's a lot of work
Arizona.
for just one person. You know, it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, and that's what part of the drama that I had was my business partner kind of wasn't being super straight with me. I had a silent investor who ended up like not really being so silent and making their own deals on the side. And you know, and then I had girls that were working for me, but you know, they were kind of just there just for the clout and to be at the shows, not really doing the work, just showing up when it was showtime. And I was kind of doing all the prep and the production, and yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But you know, I just wish I had more experience and at that time, you know. But
that goes to show you, like you need the right people around you, and this is why I say, like, so the label that I work with a lot is Master Tracks with Sekan, right? We have a solid team. You know, we have a solid team. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Like everybody just gets it done, and this is why we've been able to hold on for so long. Because there's a lot of artists that go up and down, but we've been able to just keep climbing.
Yeah, I was just like so quick to jump to LA when it was starting to really gain momentum in Phoenix. In Arizona, it was growing. It started in Tucson, it jumped over to Phoenix, and then I got an offer to bring it to LA. And it happened so quickly, and like I used to be like a big fish in a small pond, and when I moved to LA, like I was a small fish in a big pond. And so I had to adjust, and so yeah, I always look back and think like, you know, I should have just stayed in Arizona because I would have been able to make a bigger impact, I think, instead of moving to LA and then just not really knowing people out here when I did have a good team behind me in Phoenix, and I had a lot of people that wanted to work with me there because we're like club promoters and stuff like that. So yeah, there's so many things I would have did differently.
I was actually going to move to Arizona, and I was living in Texas for a little while. I wanted to go to school in Tucson. I think it's called a conservatory.
Is that a music school?
Yeah, for engineering.
Oh, cool.
For mixing and mashing. And things just didn't work out, and I ended up staying in Corpus, and now I'm in LA. You know, it's like, but I mean, Arizona does have a good scene, like the Latin market scene.
Yeah, and I don't even have the domain anymore, latinaffiliated.com, and I looked it up the other day because I was like, man, I should just go ahead and buy it back, you know. And I think it's like $3,000 now for the domain.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for the name?
Because that's
why does somebody own it?
Nobody owns it, but it's on sale. Well, they have it on sale for that. I think they're not using it, but somebody.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that do that now. They'll make up these names and
yeah. I know. And so I'm like so mad at myself that I didn't hold on to the domain, you know, but maybe I'll buy it one day because I don't think anybody can do anything with it better than what I would do with it.
Yeah.
You know? Because I was the original creator of it.
Nowadays too, now everything's all social media, like internet based, right? It's like,
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Something like that, you know. I still do your magazine online, you know. It's like there's a guy out of Mexico that does it. It's called Ritmo Urbano. He does something.
Oh, cool.
The magazine's like this little. Yeah. But that's the way. I mean, it's like, so you just got to link up with all these Latin artists or whatever. And
so I own stylelifeandmusic.com now.
Oh, okay. So what do you care more to now?
What?
What is it about more now? Like, just like lifestyle, just regular lifestyle? Or?
It's all about entrepreneurship and we're talking to people that are in the business. I really am interested in the business side of things. I think that's what a lot of young people need to know, people that are creative, because creatives have a very hard time monetizing their skill set. You made a whole career out of it. An artist like Baby Bash has, you know, me, I was lost back in the day. I knew I could design, I knew I could connect with people, network, but I didn't know how to monetize that. And if I would have figured it out earlier, or had better guidance, like I'm sure I would be way further along than I am. I've had a great career, but I didn't pursue what I was really passionate about. I mean, I kind of just turned to just regular marketing and branding, and that's why I'm able to like help people with their branding. So now I love talking to people about the business side, you know, because it's just important for anyone that's creative.
That's the number one rule. Aside from your talent, right? You need to learn business. That's the number one. And I promise you, I work with a lot of big time artists, right? And producers and actors. And 90% of them don't know the business. They have other people do it for them. And I'm like, that's fine, but you need to know it too.
Yeah.
Because this is why people get screwed and they get shortchanged or whatever. You need to know the business all the way around. And in music, there's 100 parts of the business. As you know, there's publishing, there's royalties, and registering, copyrights, and there's all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And anything you do, know the business. Know the business. In and out.
Yeah, it's definitely important. That makes the entire difference right there on whether you succeed or you become another case study of like, damn, you didn't make it. Where are you working at now? Oh, you're working at the mall now?
I know people, it's crazy right now, but whatever, you know, I try to tell people, but they don't listen, you know?
Well, hopefully we'll get the message out there again, and they can definitely look at what you're doing online. So I'll go ahead and put all your social media accounts and stuff so everyone can go check you out, keep up with you.
Sounds good. And we have the project coming out with Danny, Bash. I have my own project. I started my own playlist. I don't know if it's public yet, but it's under 2Swift Productions. You know, like the 2Swift Productions, the playlist on Spotify. It's all the songs I've produced. So I don't know if it's public yet or not. It probably has like one follower, me or something like that. You know, because I just started it. But I'm gonna be releasing new artists for myself. Now that I've been helping everybody else, now it's my turn. You know, it's like I don't know if you know, but I used to dabble into the rap, like me rapping. I have a CD out and everything. DJ Kane's on it, Bash, all Dope Houses on. Everybody's on it.
No, I saw it on YouTube.
Oh, did you?
Got the album cover.
Yeah, with my hat. It's like, yeah, it's so, and that album. So people don't realize it. Back in our days, we actually had to go out and sell it. You know, we had CDs, and I had a street team. It was my brother and his friends and my friends, and we would go walking down the parades, sell CDs, $10, $10, $5 or whatever, and posters and all that. It was manual labor, you know? Nowadays, it's like a tweet and a post or whatever, you know?
Right.
But I mean, that was like, so this is why I go back, like, I really appreciate the things that go behind it, like the business part, you know? And it's like, because everybody now is just social media, they don't know like the real business behind it.
Oh yeah, I mean, back in the day when we were at the Texas Latin Rap Awards, there was no social media for that, you know. And I was
your music at the magazine when you had to get the writers and like the pictures and the interviews and then printing it and all this other. My God, it's tired just thinking about it.
I was so happy. We were in 7-Eleven.
Oh, really?
I was so happy. Yeah, we were in 7-Eleven in Southern California and in Arizona. And, you know, but I had to work with distributors and I you know, it was a legit grind.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to go pick up the whole case of everything that was printed from the printer. I had to get a truck and like, and then the distributor would come and pick it up and then they would take it to 7-Eleven. But I remember I was so excited that I was actually in 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that's big. Man. That's cool though.
If you look at the magazines, this is where you can pick it up. And the later issues, they say 7-Eleven.
I don't remember. I think you gave me your a copy, or I don't remember where I got mine from.
And then I had people bootlegging it.
Did you really?
Selling it at the swap meet.
Oh my God.
Would tell me, they'd be like, oh, you know, they're selling your magazine over here. And I couldn't do shit about it. Like, I didn't have a strong team. It was just me. I was like, fuck, well, what am I going to do? Go confront this person? Like, I didn't.
That's a lot of stress. I mean, I had a stroke because of stress, you know?
You did?
Yeah, I've had 3 strokes. You know, it's like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like 2 and a half. Like the last one was kind of like a mild one. It was there, but it was. I was in the hospital for like 2 weeks, and I mean, so now it's like I don't get mad over nothing. I like not
stressful.
I'm stressed right now, but it's not. It's good stress. You know what I mean? It's like it's work coming in. It's you know, it's like that's not really stress. It's like more of like
a deadline.
Yeah, just deadline stress like that, but nothing. Because I always like to complete my word with everybody. Like I don't like to say one thing and do another. You know, like if I say I'm gonna do this, then you can't say nothing bad about me because I've always been fair with everybody. I split down the middle. I don't care about percentages. Some people will fight over 1 or 2%. I'm like, let's just make it fair for everybody, you know? But yeah, it's stressful. And like, I mean, doing that magazine is like, I think it's like 10 times more work than this, you know? It's like.
It was, but you know, I had a lot of passion at the time when I started it. So, you know, I didn't really think, you know, when you're really into something, you just go, right? You just go and you put it together. And I had so much fun. I mean, I kind of fell into it because I was at these shows, meeting all these artists, and I was just doing it. I was just there. I don't know why. I just really loved music, and I ended up always getting backstage, and then people would just be like, you should have a magazine. And I'm like, I should. So I created it, and then it gave me more of a reason to really be at shows.
Yeah, back in those days, plus I was younger, and so it was like, so I had like, so I could, now I don't even want to leave my house, you know, it's just like, but yeah, no, it's like, I mean, but you have to go through it, you know what I mean? Like you have to do it, like if you really want it, there's people that say that they want it all the time, but they want it the easy way. There's very few people that will actually do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Because they say it takes about 10 years for an artist to hit, not real big, but to hit, right?
Yeah.
That could be true. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, whatever. And I've been going at it, but I've always been behind the scenes, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think I've done pretty well for myself, you know? And now I'm just still, now taking it further. I have goals. Every time I hit something, I set another goal. And I've hit every single goal I've ever said I was going to do, you know? Which is good.
Well, let's talk about something that's happening in the news right now. I want to get your opinion on what's going on with Kanye West. Would you vote for Kanye West for president?
No, it's like, okay, I can't see, can you imagine how the Kardashians would feel being like the White House? Like, oh my God. And then Kanye, he's so not undecisive, but what do you call it? He like unpredictable. He might just set off a war, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we already have a president like that.
Yeah, but at least he has more common sense where like it's not gonna be a war. He's just really cocky about himself, you know?
Yeah.
Kanye
he just talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's a loose cannon, you know? And it's just bad all the way around.
Yeah. Okay. No, we're gonna say no vote. He's not getting our vote for president, but he will get our vote for the next hip hop album. So he should focus on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I didn't really like his new stuff. His old stuff, I was a fan of, you know. Yeah. But then he changed it, and now it sounds more. Because I know, like his moods changed, his mind's changed, everything's changed, you know. But I can't knock him because I mean he's a self-made billionaire now, you know. It's like $1.3 billion he's worth, you know.
Yeah.
He's got something.
But I always wonder how they verify that. I'm like so skeptical.
It's acid. It's more. It's like.
Okay.
But if you look up too, I just looked up my name the other day, and it said it was worth $500,000 or something like that. And I told my mom, I was like, look at this article. She's like, oh, they're lying. She's like, you're worth more than that. I was like, oh, your mom's got your back. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, but it's like, it's been, you know, there's people, like, I know there's people on there, like, for example, who was Maluma? He's one of the biggest, right?
Yeah.
And he's worth $12 million, something like that. And I would think just with sponsorships alone, there's $20-30 million, you know?
Wow.
So who knows how they do it?
Yeah. Well, and then that just goes back to how the artists, the musicians that are the people, the performers, the people that are the face of the music, how much harder they have it, because he probably
they don't get paid.
Well, he probably had a head start though, but then he had to pay back.
They recoup.
And especially if he's not writing his own stuff.
That's true. So a lot of people don't know about that. And it's like artists, they think songwriters and producers make the most of the money, right? The artist only really gets paid off of merch and shows.
Tours.
That's about it. And sponsorships. That's about it, you know? They don't get paid off of streams or videos or anything like that. It's because all that money is being recouped back for the expenses that they've wasted on you, you know? Or not wasted, but they spent on you. And so that's why you see all these artists going broke, because they think it's gonna last forever, and the next thing you know, like, but you don't hear about producing or Scott Storch, but that's because drugs took over that. But you know,
yeah, I saw an interview he did recently. You know, he seems like he's learned his lesson. I mean,
I just talked to him the other day.
Oh wow!
His compound's right down the street, and he had called me to do not to do something, but to get him like I get a lot of these antique pieces for people, right? So a lot of people from Mexico, Peru, from everywhere call me for these things, and I'll get them, you know. And he calls me, and so I found him this unique piece, this vintage piece.
Oh, can you say what type of vintage piece?
It's just an MPC, like an MPC, well, it's a drum machine, but it's the very first generation.
Okay. You know, my son, he's a guitarist, and he talks about stuff like that too. And he actually ordered something. It was like the original tape. I don't remember, but he ordered it, and it got sent from like Colombia.
Oh, really?
It was like the only one in the world. It was for. I was like kind of shocked. I was like, "What did you order?" And it was and it came from Colombia. But okay, so now I know that's what artists are really into.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff. I mean, no, it's like I have a bunch of guitars here, but I would say about 90% of them, they were all given to me. You know, it's like my very first guitar, I got it from Barry Bond. He plays the San Francisco Giants, or he used to play for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh wow!
And he gave it to me because I was at his house. I was playing it. He gave it to me when I left. And then like these other ones.
Nice.
I did a commercial for Coca-Cola, and they gave me a Selena guitar that they don't make no more. And now it's like, now on eBay they're going for like $2,000. Back then they were only like $100. And I still have it. It's in perfect shape, you know. So I have a bunch of all these stuff, like. So I have like stories behind all this stuff, how everything happened, you know.
That's a lot of stuff. That's
definitely
bumps up your net worth. I want to thank you for spending time with me. This is you know, our little
reunion.
Yeah, our reunion, our 10-year reunion.
More like 15 years.
I know, you're probably right. Oh my God.
I've been in LA for like 13 years already.
I've been here since, it's like we all moved out here at the same time. I swear everybody moved out here in 2007.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tara and you moved out here in 2007. I feel like so many people I talked to were like, yeah, it was like 2007 when we moved out here.
I didn't know anybody when I moved out here. I knew a handful of people, like maybe 2 people, you know, and man, but I really had to hustle because there was a lot of people that I met that had just moved here too. And 98% of them are not even here no more because they couldn't make it.
Really?
And they went back home or they
What
went back
type of people? What was their industry? Were they musicians?
music. I mean, because everybody comes to LA because it's Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
They want the Hollywood life and but they don't know there's a million people with the same dream as you. What's gonna make you stand out from them? There's a million actors, actresses, producers, songwriters, singers. This is Hollywood. It's the mecca of like the artistic life, you know? And so so I always tell people, why do you want to sound like this person? Why do you want to do this like that? You need to stand out from everybody else. There's a lot of competition, and a lot of it is who do you know as well, you know? Like,
definitely.
It's like you have to know the right people. That's one. It's not that you can't think, oh, I'm gonna move to LA and I'm gonna become this big actor, big rapper, whatever. It's not gonna happen. You need to come out here and you need to network for a long time.
Yeah.
Know the right people, and maybe it'll happen. Because like I said, like there's a million of you out here already. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's like.
Do you remember Bob Hernandez?
Bob Hernandez, no.
I'm surprised you don't know him. He worked with Akon. He was on Convict Records.
Was he an artist?
No, he was a promoter. But he promoted the crap out of Convict Records, and he passed away sadly. He was a really good guy, and he was very well connected. Like he worked with a lot of people doing promotions in the background. And I remember when I first moved here, I actually got invited to go on Power 106.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't even know how big. Looking back, I'm like, that was so big, and I didn't even know. Like I was on the radio with the DJ Hood Rat Miguel, and
Hood Rat Miguel.
Yeah, and Sour Milk. And Sour Milk's still on the radio, and I met Felly Fel. And they shouted out Latin affiliated. And then I remember Bob called me and he was like, girl, how'd you get on the radio? And I was like, you heard me? And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's so cool. And you know, that was like right when I moved here. And so it is definitely a lightning in the bottle kind of thing. And I think you just have to be smart, and any opportunity that falls or comes your way, you got to know, you know, what you're dealing with and how to make the most of it. And just at the time, I just didn't know how big that was. And I just look back at that and I'm like, can I ever get back on Power 106? Like, I don't know if I could.
You know what? It's funny because I was working with Sour Milk. He has a thing called LA Leakers with Justin. And Justin and I is like, we're homies.
That's incredible. Yeah.
We called him almost every other day for advice or for help or whatever, right?
Oh, that's so cool.
And so everybody
I met him there too at the same time, because they've both been on the air for years, right? Felly Fel's still in there too. They're still there.
Yeah, I helped them out too. Like all of them. You know what? So I always tell people, never take advantage of the situation that you're in, small or big, because a lot of the stuff that I did back in 2003, 4, 5, 6 is helping me now.
Yeah.
With all those contacts, it's like it's helped me so much that now it's like I met. Okay, are you familiar with E-Dub and Kool-Aid from Pocos Pero Locos?
Yeah. Yes, I love Kool-Aid.
I met them in 2001. I took a picture with them when I was really skinny.
She is so nice too. Kool-Aid.
Oh, they're like family with me, and now he either hires me to go do stuff or I'll help him out or whatever. And he introduced me to other people. And this was from back in 2001, a relationship, you know, like not even a relationship because we just met, we took a picture and that's it. And I moved out here and just by networking, meeting the right people. And now it's like a small circle. You know? It's like everybody knows each other.
That's what I really liked about that time is this Latinos, we all really did look out for each other. And I'm just so bummed that I walked away from it and but I'm so happy to see like you guys and hear your stories and how those circles are they're still doing the same thing. You guys are still working in the industry and that's like really awesome.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I don't need to be working with the biggest artists to feel good. I feel good with the artists I'm working with right now. You know what I mean? It's like I said, like I always go back, like, I don't care about the money, you know, it's like money's cool and everything like that. But I do the music because it's been a passion of mine since I was 3 years old, you know, 4 years old, you know. It's always, when I was a kid, back in the days, at the quinceañeras and weddings, there was real bands playing, not just DJ. There was real bands playing. Nowadays, it's just DJ. Well, now they started with bands, but back then, so I'd be, instead of playing with my cousins and all my friends, I'd be just watching the band, just amazed. I was the little kid just watching it like that. And that was, I want to be like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started playing the saxophone like I can't remember if it was first or second grade. And I still play to this day, you know? And I took that, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. I know I wanted to be a DJ, so I was a DJ. And I was winning DJ battles. And then I didn't know about this, like, you know what I used to think? That the radio stations, that the bands were actually at the radio stations playing live. I didn't know what CDs or anything. I was a kid. I was like, man, they sound really good. But I didn't know that there was studio or the recording studio was or anything. My first mixtape was with like a small 4-track machine. It was like 4 channels, and it was cassettes. It was just, man, I've been through it all. I mean, and then my first kind of like studio, it was a mini disc player. So I had some rappers I was trying it out with. It was like 3 rappers, and everybody had 1 shot to rap on it. So I pushed play on the beat, like on the keyboard, and you rap, and both those signals would go to the mini disc player. You had 1 chance. If you mess up, we have to redo it all over again. And it was just like that. So we rap, you pass the mic, the rap, and like that. And sometimes the last person would mess it up. I was like, oh, it was like, you know, it was like, man, it was crazy, like the stuff that we used to do.
I know.
Cut the tape and, you know, just tape it up, you know. It was crazy.
Yeah, technology is definitely our friend nowadays.
Yeah. No, but still to this day, like one of a close friend of mine, his name is Smoke Beats from Corpus. He helps me a lot. He gives me a lot. He's the one I could say who's pushed me since day one to be a better engineer, producer. And it's like, oh no, that sucks. Do this or you know, it's just because it benefited him because I was mixing his stuff and I was helping like his group. So I was trying to learn. So constantly it was a learning process, and still to this day I'm still learning. It never stops. There's new tricks, and you know, you just have to stay on top of your game and whatever you do.
Yeah, that's so true. The more you learn, you know, the more you earn.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight, and this is like such a great interview. I can't wait to put it out, and like hopefully there's
like quick, huh?
I know it did. It actually went over. Way over. So this is good, and I hope anyone that's aspiring to be, you know, in your career industry they'll take some of your advice and be able to use it and help themselves. And I'm going to put all your social media so they can all reach out to you if they have any questions.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, can you give me a little drop and just say this is 2Swift and you're watching Slam TV?
Slam TV. Okay, hold on, let me see. I forget, like my mind's going in. this is 2Swift, and you're watching Slam TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yo, what's up? This is 2Swift, and you're watching Slam TV.
Oh, thank you.
You like that?
That made my day. Yeah, that was cool.
All right.
That was really cool. I loved it. Oh, that's awesome. Have you seen the interview with Tara New? And
Yeah, I watched it. I watched Danny on there too, and he's funny.
he's so funny. Yeah, I had no idea how funny he is.
He cracks me up. Oh man, just being in the same room, he'll tell you stories. And have you seen his documentary yet?
No, I haven't paid for it because I didn't get like a link or anything.
Well, it's on his Instagram. If you go to his Instagram, it's like the link tree. It's like the first one. It's I rented it. It was like $5.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta watch it because after that, like the very next day, it just happened. He came by with Mario, with his friend and Bash, and I started asking him all these questions after I saw the documentary, and it was just crazy. It was like he was just like it's crazy. His whole life story. It's cool.
I know. That was so fun talking to him, and he's like so nice and gracious and funny. So,
and he just likes to help people.
Yeah, I love, and again, this is like all the same connection, like Bash and Tara, and now you're working with them, and so there's so many connections here, and I love keeping in touch with you guys and watching.
We're gonna do something in like I'll definitely keep you updated with the documentary that I want to do.
Okay, let me know how I can help for sure.
I don't even know if it's gonna be. I just have the idea and the goal, and I don't think it would. It's just gonna cost me my time because I already have all the connections, my flights and stuff like that. But this is something I wanted to, as a goal. I've already said it, and it's gonna happen,
Hell yeah, that's a good goal, and that's a story that needs to be told too.
Now that's the only thing. Like, I don't know how. Like,
we'll be like the NWA, the Latinos.
Yeah, so that's what I gotta figure out is how, like, what part of it do I want to portray? Because I want to start back from like 2005 when Aquid and JP and Quick Steeler were all.
Oh shit, Aquid! Oh my god, I haven't heard that name in so long. Yeah.
Well, they just came back again, so they've been touring and all that.
Oh my god, I have to look their stuff up.
Yeah, but they just signed to El Perral Records or something like that. No, El Parral, something like that. El Parral, right? Something. But anyways, so I'm gonna talk about that. And now a lot of them are crossing over into Mexico, and so everybody's doing collabs and features, and so that's what I want to talk about. But everything like from the radio, from like the magazine, the promotions, like everybody who's behind the scenes and make it happen for everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. People need to see that because people don't know that. Yeah. And that's my biggest complaint. It's not even a complaint, but it's like, man, it's like the producers and the songwriters, man, we do so much for the artists that we don't get enough recognition for it, Yeah, we get our plaques and our credits, but nothing like an artist does. But more power to the artists, because they're out there singing, they put it their all too, Mm-hmm. But I think songwriters and producers should get, and everybody else behind the scenes should get more exposure,
Yeah. Well, this is a nice step in that direction, so.
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep you posted with
and
that.
this is the stuff that I love to learn about too. I love learning the behind the scenes stories. That's where you hear how things are created, and that's where you hear like the best part of things that you don't know about, things that you just hear the music, you don't know any of the backstory. So that's the part that I really like to learn too. Hopefully soon, once this COVID is over, we're gonna go eat some tacos at Danny's taco shop.
Oh yeah, we gotta go. All right, sounds good. Well, it's good talking to you. We're catching up. We'll talk again.